Bimol Akoijam is Congress MP from Inner Manipur. He's joining us on the broadcast. So are other guests. Bimol Akoijam, I'm coming to you first. I understand the political rhetoric, but the fact is that the situation in Manipur is far beyond rhetoric now. The Congress party seriously has suggested that maybe it's time to call for fresh elections in the state. I want to ask you, Bimol Akoijam, how that is going to solve the situation at hand. Will an election or the NIA stepping in or 5,000 troops being sent to Manipur or even AFSPA being reimposed in 6 districts, all of that, this is not going to solve the situation in Manipur. Then why the rhetoric?
No, first of all, Shreya, I must tell you something that I've landed in Delhi in the afternoon today, and I couldn't see this in the buildings as usually when the plane was descending. I was thinking to myself, it is like a gas chamber. It is a death trap for the people of the city. That's the feeling I felt, and it reminds me of the fact that Manipuri people, the people of Manipur, has been in a gas chamber like a concentrated camp for decades, and it has worsened in the recent times with this violence. You don't quite feel like a citizen at all, many of them. Even an MP like me, a member of the Temple of Democracy in this country, a person who has served this country in 3 of the leading institutes in the national capital for 3 decades. I have also started asking myself, is Manipur part of India or not? My students whom I've taught from Kerala to Kashmir, from Gujarat to Nagaland, what have I done in the last 3 decades? That this is a country who exploded with seemingly a hurt sensibility when pictures of 2 women paraded naked. But when an 8-month-old child was clubbed to death under captivity, this is a nation whose Rashtra Chetna, whose moral sensibility seems to be less affected. I haven't seen a single media talking about it. I haven't seen a single within God, a national leader condemning it. They have condemned and voiced their hurt when women were paraded naked. When women and children, an 8-month-old baby, whose pictures were uploaded by their abductors and held hostage and slaughtered in the most inhuman manner, this country seems to be less bothered. So we have been in a death trap in the state of Manipur. And I just came back from my home state. Believe me, unlike other politicians, I'm not a regular politician. When my state burns, I go home to be with my people, to talk and see what can be done, what are the other issues that I can raise in the temple of democracy. And I'm deeply offended and hurt that not a single, and this is, by the way, a country with a Nobel laureate whose work with the children has been applauded globally. And I wonder what we are. Just as this gas chamber called Delhi, this is like a concentration camp created by a lack of proper policy and sincerity in the way we deal with the issue in Delhi. In a similar way, the Manipuris have been under death trap for 18 months. And when an infant was slaughtered, and there is not a single condemnation from even the political elites in this country, forget about others. And you think that you are asking this is rhetoric? No, this is not rhetoric. There is nothing like a government of Manipur. There is nothing like an state assembly. Under the Indian constitutions, we have something called concurrent list, state list, union list. It doesn't matter. We are living like a colonial structures when Delhi dictates terms. And we have an obedient, subservient political elites who are running the state. And if that assembly doesn't matter, if the government of that state doesn't matter, is not accountable through the eyes of the government of India or the rest of the country, you remember that the Home Minister have said that the CM is cooperating. And you must also remember that the CM says his hands and this thing have been tied. Everything is dictated from Delhi through a facade. This is the most insincere approach which have led to this violence. And to call by my party leaders at home saying that if this assembly doesn't matter, if Delhi is going to run the show, why don't we resign altogether and take a fresh mandate? This is calling for the constitutional order to be re-established rather than trying to camouflage the very fact that the Indian state have allowed a Rwandan type, a third world country type scenario in Manipur for the last 18 months. This is not rhetoric. This is a moral appeal to the rest of the country. Forget about the Prime Minister. I don't want to appeal to him. I don't think he has the sense and sensibility to understand the pain. One might think about getting Nobel Prize for running and resolving conflict in the rest of the other world. Let it be. But I will be still asking if Manipur is part of this country under the constitution of this country, as the 19th state of this union, do we deserve this treatment? Or the rest of the country, aren't you get offended? An 18-month-old baby was killed, not in the heat of the moment, but after keeping hostage women and children. Where are those people who have been raising voices when the naked women were paraded? I also wrote a paper in the national media condemning that. Who stood up for that, those women and children whose picture were displayed by their hostage takers? Are you going to justify something like an essentialized conflict between two communities? This is far more than two ethnic conflict. It is absolute reflection of a Rashtra Chetna who doesn't care about the people of that state, who doesn't care about the constitutional order being there. You don't care at all. That is what, this is not rhetoric. You expect people not to get emotional.
You answered my question.
Yeah, that's what the people at back home, you see the last 2 days. It's a spectacle. No, it's not a spectacle. That's a culmination of the frustrations that people have gone through for the last 18 months. Had it been in UP or Bihar, I'm still asking to the rest of this country, would this have been allowed? Had it been in UP or Bihar or Rajasthan or Delhi or Punjab, will this country, 75 years old republic and democracy with 5,000 years old civilization, would have allowed this for so long? I'm asking this as a person who have taught students from Kashmir to Kanyakumari in the elite universities in this country, in the capital, for 30 years. And now I'm a member of this temple of democracy, the largest democracies in the world. And remember that this passion, this anger and anguish is what has led to those violence today. It's not a spectacle that houses being burned, children being killed, women being killed. And we have been watching this for 18 months. And you keep a government as a proxy there. And then you said that this is all about BJP and Congress. I am not talking about BJP and Congress. It's a plain humanitarian questions and a constitutional order. I'm asking this last question to my anchor.
Bimol, you asked me a question.
The rest of the people who are listening to this, do you think that this kind of a violence would have been allowed in this country had it been in Bihar, UP, Rajasthan, Delhi or Punjab? Please answer this question. Let Manipuris to face their own destiny as what they have been going through.
Bimal, my honest answer to you is this. No, this would not have been allowed. No, because the national media sits in the national capital, close to Bihar, close to Uttar Pradesh, close to Rajasthan, close to Madhya Pradesh. This is the tyranny of distance. This is worst, perhaps. I hear you. Bimol Akoijam, I hear you. I agree with you as well. But we leave it there for the moment because I have questions to ask my other guests. Please feel free to stay on. I mean, I have absolutely no problem with that. Rajat.